Hello, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite film podcast. Hopefully, this episode is coming to you a bit early today. We're recording a bit earlier. I just woke up about 20 minutes ago, but I'm ready to go. I have my coffee, so we're feeling good.
Hell yeah.
We're here, and we're your hosts, Trey and Evan. If you don't know us by now, then that's your problem. Or if this is your first time joining, welcome. Yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. We're going to talk about some movie news, including Dune reactions and our fantastic forecastings. We're going to talk about our next two movies that we've decided to do in our Nolan deep dive. We're going to do The Prestige and Tenet. And we are also going to talk about some of the real poopy movies we've been watching recently. Because neither of us have been watching a lot of great movies, but both of us have been watching... Except for Tenet and The Prestige.
Yeah.
And I watched the original Tron finally, and that was peak.
Nice.
But yeah, we're just going to get into it. But first, Evan, how are you doing? How's your week been?
I'm doing good. Week's good. Been busy at work.
Yeah.
Got a day off today, so I mean, I've been awake for 5 hours because my sleep schedule just is set on waking up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That sucks.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm used to it. I'm currently grinding through Final Fantasy VII. It's like on the PlayStation 5, so it has built-in cheat codes because I've played it before and I just kind of want to see the story again. So it has like infinite health and like one hit all the enemies, and like you can set it to like 300% game speed, so you can just bust through it.
Yeah.
But the worst part of it is that game has random encounters, so when you're just walking, it's like Pokemon.
Yeah.
So just walking, it's the worst, because if you get lost and you're trying to find your way, you'll just keep hitting fucking... Sorry, Trey's mom. You'll just keep hitting, like, random encounters, and it's so frustrating. So,
yeah.
I gotta try and bust through that later. Yeah.
Good
Watching
stuff.
some Peak.
Yeah, man.
This morning was a double feature of Pretty Bad we'll get into later.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm watching Sicario with my dad tonight. He's never seen it. And
Peak.
He loves like that kind of like crime thriller, crime drama, and I'm like, holy cow, Dad, you're gonna love this movie.
Heck yeah. So good.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not? It's amazing. I don't know what Ferdinand is talking about having that shit at 3 stars.
And Ryan has it at like a 4.
God, dude, that's insane to me. That's insane. I mean, it's a 5-star for that dinner scene alone where Benicio del Toro shows up to the guy's house.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
The 5-star for the border scene.
Oh, God, dude. Denis Villeneuve just cooks, bro.
Opens on such a bang, too, like, with the house exploding. Oh, my God.
Yeah. I was talking to Jagger last night. We were on a call for a little bit, just yapping. God, dude, some of his takes is...
I saw a comment in one of his Letterboxd reviews. I gotta find it. Because he gave something a 2-star, and I was like, same score as Oppenheimer, and he just responded yep with a thumbs up emoji. And I was like, I want to die.
Dude, we were talking last night. We're both part of this Discord called, it's like for movie talk content creators. So create like content creators on TikTok who are like do movie content. I don't do it that much anymore, but I was super active for a while, so I got invited in there. And there's this one kid who has a TikTok account named Jackie. He's like 14 or something, 14 or 15. All the love to you, Jackie. I know we've talked a lot if you're listening to this. But Jackie has said that Morbius is better than all 3 Captain America movies.
Oh, God.
And I didn't figure out about it last night. And I, like, you know how much I love those movies. I
Yes.
just about lost it. I was like, in what world?
God.
He said maybe Winter Soldier is better, but the rest,
Maybe
mid.
Winter Soldier cheese.
That's crazy to me. Winter Soldier is top 3 superhero movies for me.
W.
It's so peak.
Yeah.
Civil War might be top 5. My top 5 superhero movies might just be the Dark Knight trilogy and Winter Soldier and Civil War.
It's valid.
Yeah, they're peak. Okay, let's get into it. Movie news. Not that exciting of a week. We got our first reviews for Dune 2 because that premiered with Zendaya in a crazy outfit.
C3PO cosplay.
Yeah, dude. Whew. Looking good.
Everyone is just glazing this movie. Even people who didn't like the first one, they're like, I saw a review, and I mean, it's not like scores or anything because it's just a social media embargo.
Yeah.
But it said, I feel lucky to be alive to watch this movie. And I'm like, 9 more days. 9 more days.
God, dude. I'm more excited for this than I was for Oppenheimer.
Hell yeah. Do you have tickets yet?
No, I don't.
Gotta get on that.
I haven't even gotten my first paycheck, dude.
Oh, really? Still? That sucks.
Yeah, because when you join a job, it like the paycheck kind of like it just takes a while, you know, for it to catch up. So I haven't gotten a paycheck yet.
That sucks.
But I will be buying tickets when I do get a paycheck.
Criterion Collection adding a new film, Anatomy of a Fall. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I saw that cover. A lot of
Terrible
people.
cover.
Oh, I like it. I think it's cool. I like it. But that's just me. Yeah, again, it's been a really light few days. Nothing massive. Ridley Scott to direct a Bee Gees biopic. I'm down. That sounds great.
Cool. We got Cillian Murphy teasing that he might star in 28 Years Later. Awesome.
Yeah, dude, that'd be sick.
I want it.
He was great
to
in
me.
28 Days.
It's good and everything.
What is this? Barry Keoghan to star in film from Chernobyl director Johan Rennick about Saddam Hussein's final days.
I saw this headline. That sounds sick. No, he's like a bodyguard or something.
Oh.
Sounds cool. I love Barry Keoghan.
That sounds. That's my boy. Yeah, that actually sounds interesting. John Wick Experience tourist attraction to open in Las Vegas?
What? You just walk in there and there's just people being murdered on the street.
12,000 square foot ticketed attraction located on the Area 15 campus, a curated collection of best-in-class immersive experiences, interactive attractions, events, and entertainment. The new experience blends immersive theater and highly themed cinematic environments to create an interactive journey that transcends reality. Guests step through the doors of the Las Vegas Continental and into the fantastical underworld of John Wick, where they navigate high-stakes adventures as well as visit a themed bar and retail shop open to the general public.
That sounds sick.
Each group of guests will be tasked with specific missions, playing out in unique ways with characters, mythology, and iconography from the Wick universe. They may rub elbows with Continental staff, assassins, crime bosses, or other curious guests like themselves within the relative safety of the Continental. Guests will be drawn into the culture, trusted with secrets, and invited to private areas of the Continental, promising an authentic and compelling action-packed experience.
Yeah, I'm going
what?
Opens. That sounds sick.
Evan, we might need to go to this together.
Yeah, we might have to go to Vegas.
Just nerd out. Oh my god, that sounds so cool.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
I'm very excited for that. I was wrong. big news this week: John Wick. Um, I mean, unless you have anything else, that's about
We got
all I
Fantastic
have.
Four.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh, sorry, mom. Yeah,
We got the Fantastic Forecast, and it's interesting. We've got Pedro
let's go through
Pascal.
one by one. What are you,
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal? What do you think?
I'm scared. Leave Daddy Pascal out of the MCU because he's gonna get locked in, and he's never gonna escape, and it's gonna ruin him. And like, get your bag, but like, I don't know.
I also don't think he's a good casting.
No, I don't know. Like,
I think
I like Pedro Pascal.
he's too sweet and like wholesome. I remember they were in talks with Matt Smith and Adam Driver for a while for Mr. Fantastic. And I think they would have been perfect. Like that genius level, not arrogance that like Doctor Strange has, but like knowing that he's smarter than you. I feel like they both would kill that. I don't know about Pedro.
Yeah, I'm skeptical. I already like. I mean, I've been vocal. I don't really care about superhero movies anymore. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I like Pedro Pascal. I'm curious how the dynamic works between all of them. Like, see what the chemistry is like, because this is a weird cast. Like, it's a weird mishmash of people. First off, how do you feel about this being potentially set in the '60s?
I like that. I think
Yeah.
that's a cool idea.
I think it's a cool idea too.
I think it's a fresh look at like the Fantastic Four, who has already been done twice. So they're gonna need to do something different. Because these characters have yet to be done justice on the big screen.
Yeah, you
Like-
could say that.
All three of those movies are absolutely terrible.
People have crazy nostalgia for the like original two movies.
And that's the
Which
only
is
reason
fine.
they have it rated highly.
Yeah.
They're not
It's fine,
good.
but like they're not good. Yeah, they're bad movies. Whatever.
We also got Vanessa Kirby as Mrs. Fantastic. I have never seen her in anything.
She's very good.
What's she in?
She was in what I first saw her in was Pieces of a Woman on Netflix. That was peak. She's in Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh,
She plays Statham's brother or sister. She's really fun in that. And then she's in Napoleon. She was great in Napoleon, best part of the movie.
she was in About Time.
Yeah. She's in Dead Reckoning.
Yeah, so she's done a lot of action.
Yeah. She has good dramatic chops too. Like she was great, even though that movie's mid.
Yeah.
So I like this. She's also a very beautiful woman, so that's pretty cool. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And then
for the-
Joseph Quinn,
Yeah.
Human Torch. What do you think? We've seen him as Eddie in Stranger Things, and that's about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Eddie's character kind of annoyed me after like one episode, and just like I think that the whole fallout of that season of Stranger Things made me dislike Eddie even more. And like,
God, that season was so
quick
bad.
spoilers for Stranger Things season 4. People are like, "Oh, bring Eddie back." If they bring Eddie back, I am not finishing the season because
Yeah.
Stranger Things has this insane problem with killing characters off and then bringing them back, and it's like,
Yep.
oh my god!
Just
Or
have the
they
characters
introduce-
stay dead.
Yeah, or they like introduce a character to kill them off immediately the same season, like Bob. Like it's freaking
Yeah.
insane.
Bob was
how-
a goated character, too.
Yeah, absolutely goated character, and you bring in a new character that people love and kill him off, and it's literally like a formula at this point for Stranger Things. So I don't know. I'm not super huge on Stranger Things anymore, so Joseph Quinn's not my favorite choice.
Yeah.
See,
I think he has
Got
a good
potential.
he has the right amount of charisma to play John Storm.
for sure.
Definitely will do a better job than Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
He was
Yes.
rough. And then finally, we
The
got
Thing.
I don't know how to say. I only know
What's
him
his
as
last
cousin.
name? His name is I know Eben Moss. What I don't know his last name.
Um,
I don't have it pulled up.
let's see, Eben Moss Bacharach. I don't know how to say it,
All right.
but we have
Apologies.
seen him in The Bear playing cousin.
Good.
I like that casting a lot.
Yeah, this one's good.
I was pushing for Seth Rogen as the Thing, but I like this a lot. Yeah, I'm
This is
looking
probably
for
my
it.
favorite casting.
Yeah, I think he will do an excellent job.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously hopeful for this movie.
Yeah, and then one more thing about the Fantastic Four: Galactus is reportedly the main villain, with
Hell
Javier
yeah!
Bardem named as the top choice for the role.
Oh my god, dude.
Currently searching for an actor to play the Silver Surfer. That's a W.
Okay, let's fan cast the Silver Surfer. Who would we like to see as the Silver Surfer? I think honestly, and this is not just because we've just watched Tenet, but John David Washington. I think he would be an amazing Silver Surfer.
Yeah, he could be good. I do have issues with John David Washington to an extent because I don't know if he has the chops to carry movies. We'll talk about it more when we get to Tenet, but like with the creator, he's so lifeless in that movie. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, the charisma really skipped a generation with the Washingtons, man.
Just give it to Robert Pattinson, honestly. Like, let's get it done.
I don't think Robert Pattinson can do it. I think he has too. You want someone who's kind of robotic,
Yeah, that's true.
but also can convey like a deep sadness. I don't know.
Yeah, this is tough to fan cast because like we've only had a bad interpretation of him, and I don't read
Yeah.
the comics, so.
I mean, I read the comics, but I haven't read a lot with Silver Surfer in them. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like John David Washington would be a good Silver Surfer. I think Domhnall Gleeson would be a good one.
Ooh, that could be good. Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac would be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
see. Kind of up in the air.
Yeah. Should we get
glaze?
into our reviews for today?
Yeah.
Should we
Let's
get
talk
into
about
peak?
2 5-star Christopher Nolan films.
Yeah. So today we are continuing. This is the second episode of our Christopher Nolan deep dive. We're kind of hopping around this time because there's certain movies we wanted to pair together and they didn't exactly come out one after the other. So today we're doing The Prestige and Tenet. We're going to start off with The Prestige and we'll follow it up with Tenet. So Prestige came out in 2006. This was, I believe, his first film after Memento or Insomnia. What year did Batman Begins come out? No, this is after Batman Begins.
Yeah.
So at this point, Christopher Nolan has already gained huge recognition in the film community. Because if you look at Batman Begins, he got, Christian Bale, who was one of the hottest actors at the time. You got Michael Caine. You got Liam Neeson.
Oh my God.
You got Cillian Murphy. You just got a stacked cast, right? So 1 year later, Chris Nolan comes out with a movie called The Prestige about magicians. Now, I will admit that movies about, like a movie about magicians, that doesn't sound like the most exciting thing to me. And another movie that came out this same year was called The Illusionist. Another movie about magicians, directed by Neil Berger, who did Limitless.
W.
Yeah, Limitless is sick. But somehow Nolan puts his sauce in this movie. Nolan does what he does and cooks up debatably one of his best movies. A mysterious story of two magicians whose intense rivalry leads them on a lifelong battle for supremacy, full of obsession, deceit, and jealousy with dangerous and deadly consequences. This film has a 4.2 overall on Letterboxd. It's on the Letterboxd Top 250. This film, I believe, I don't know, I think it's an 8.5. Yeah, 8.5 on IMDb.
That's a W.
Yeah, it's crazy popular. Metascore is 66, which seems low.
That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, most of the average, you can look at the average rating of your mutuals, and the average rating of my mutuals is 4.5. Which is like crazy high. As far as our cast goes, we got Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Michael Caine, Scarlett Johansson, Rebecca Hall, David Bowie, Andy Serkis, Piper Perabo. I mean, that's as far as I need to go. It's stacked. You got Chris Nolan directing and writing it with his brother Jonathan. And which is this the first film? Oh no, he helped him write. He helped him write Memento. You got Wally. Oh God, I think his last name is Pfister.
Feister.
Okay. Ugh. Who has all behind the camera? Who has also done the cinematography for The Dark Knight, Inception, Dark Knight Rises, Memento, Batman Begins, Moneyball, Insomnia.
W.
Has some great. So you just got like a lot of amazing people working on this movie. So it was bound to be as great as it is. Yeah. So let's get into it. What are your just give me your opening thoughts on The Prestige, Evan. What are your opening thoughts?
Opening thoughts. I watched this when I was 12 years old, I think, with my grandma, and I thought it was boring, and I didn't like it. Neither of us really liked it. And then I rewatched it 10 years later, last summer, and it blew me away. I freaking love this movie. It is so cool and very, very intense. It, like you said, it's a magician movie, but my God, this movie's intense.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. All the plot lines, you've got two plots you're kind of watching at the same time. Lots of side characters. There's this mystery you're trying to kind of figure out, and it's such an engaging film that you just you think into. It's also fun. All the magic scenes are awesome to watch, and this rivalry is so entertaining of these two guys just trying to outdo each other. It's just an awesome movie, and we'll get into the ending later, but my God, what an ending.
Yeah. This movie has an unbelievable amount of twists and turns. There's not even including the ending. There's multiple moments where you're like, "Oh crap! Oh shoot!" Where you're just kind of didn't see that coming. But yeah, I truly do love this movie. I think Bale and Jackman give outstanding performances. I think Scarlett Johansson and Rebecca Hall give great supporting performances. Michael Caine is solid as always. And I just think this makes for an all-around, it's so engaging. You're just locked in from the beginning.
Yeah.
And this movie's excellent. It's so good. It is so good.
This movie sinks its teeth into you from literally the first scene when you have Michael Caine giving a delicious voiceover in your ear about the structure of a magic trick, and it's just are you watching closely? And you're like, holy shit, I'm watching closely now. Let's get into it. It's so awesome. Just the first scene of this movie, pulling off a magic trick for this kid, you kind of get the sense of wonder of a magic trick with the bird trick,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it's like, wow,
Yeah.
oh, it's just so
Yeah.
good.
So first thing I want to talk about are two most side characters, uh, Tesla and Ali, respectively, David Bowie and Andy Serkis. I think these are the two most underrated performances in the movie. They every scene, David Bowie just has a presence that whenever he's on screen, you're just like locked in. He has this presence about him. He just commands. He commands like everybody's attention. He's a showman, and he's the best at it. I think he was a perfect casting for Tesla. And I mean, I love it.
It's like a David Bowie jump scare when he pops out, and I was like, oh my god. And
You're like, oh crap, it's David Bowie.
the field outside Tesla's place is just so visually stunning.
Yeah.
The lights all around.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I might be jumping the gun a bit because we'll talk about this later, but when the transported man trick is revealed on how it actually works, I did not remember this from my first watch, so this was pretty much like a brand new experience, and I was like, huh? We're going into
who's transported man?
The Hugh Jackman one where he starts duplicating himself. I was like,
yeah.
What the heck? Like, oh my god! It's just it into like a almost not supernatural, but like very sci-fi thing that I was not expecting.
Yeah,
like you kind of go into this movie expecting very smart people trying to fight each other to come out on top, and it really takes a left turn in the third act. It's crazy.
Yeah,
but that is something we'll get into later.
I mean, let's get into it now. Let's get into some of the twists and turns this movie's offer. So, first little twist, we start studying these characters, Borden and
Angier,
and they both are working for the same magician, and Borden is married to the magician's assistant, Julia. And is Borden Hugh Jackman? I get them mixed up.
Oh no, Angier's Hugh Jackman.
Yeah. And Angier's married to Julia, and Borden is like their friend, and Borden keeps tying these different knots that he's not supposed to when they put her in the water tank. And so one time he ties the wrong one and she dies in the water tank. First twist. Like, he comes to the funeral and he still doesn't know what knot he tied. Obviously, we'll know why later, because it probably wasn't actually him on the stage.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That twist might be better than Hugh Jackman's.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But, yeah, that's our first twist. And our next twist is... So, Angier's is, like, heartbroken because his wife has died. He blames Borden. So, Borden is doing a show with a bullet catch. And Angier's is the one to shoot the gun, but Borden doesn't realize it's him until it's too late. And Angier's had snuck a bullet into... And that's, like, a whole oh crap moment. And then there's the moment where... Angier's is doing his like transported man trick with Gerald Root, which Gerald Root, goated character. What a menace that guy was. But Angier's ends up, or Borden ends up breaking Angier's legs and then like messing up his whole trick, and yeah. I mean, this movie just offers like a magician show, like going to see a magician. You never know what's coming. It's impossible to guess.
So it's like, I mean, it's outlined at the very start of the movie like Michael Caine's like part one is the pledge. Magician shows you something ordinary. Okay, we're watching a movie about some magicians.
Mm-hmm.
And then part two is the pledge, where part two is the term where shows you something incredible, and then we start seeing like them doing crazier and crazier shit, and then you have the prestige,
Yeah.
and it's this like insane reveal at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Wow, many
So
insane reveals.
let's talk about those two main insane reveals. First of all, so the main trick for both of these musicians is the transporting man, where they are seamlessly transported between one location to the next one in a matter of seconds. So, and they each do it in a both mind-blowing way. So we have Angiers, Hugh Jackman's character. He goes to Tesla and he's like, hey, you made a machine for this guy. I want you to make one for me so I can do this trick better. He ends up realizing later Tesla never made a machine for Borden, but that's a whole nother thing. He makes this machine that at first it seems it doesn't work. But then they realize instead of transporting an object, they essentially duplicate it in another location, which is insane.
Yeah.
Like it's an exact copy. So Angiers tries it on himself, and he does it, and another him shows up.
This shit literally had my jaw on the floor. I was not expecting it.
And you know what? He doesn't like study the other him. He kills himself.
Yeah, bro's got
What?
like a graveyard of himself.
Have you read the Invincible comics?
No.
Okay, first of all, you need to. They're amazing.
Okay.
I can't remember if they're in the TV show, but there's these two characters called the Mauler twins.
Yeah, they are in the show.
Yes, and they're constantly fighting on who's the clone and who's not. And I mean, this totally reminds me of it. And so we figure out at the end of the movie that Angiers has a trap door under the coils, and every time he duplicates himself, the original, he goes down and drowns himself in a water tank so the other one can live. It's insane. And at the end of the movie, Borden goes down below the stage, and there is just rows of dead Angiers.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's so crazy. And exactly like you said, and this is what I think Nolan does best is like the twist. He has perfected it. I remember my jaw being like, "Are you serious right now?" Yeah, it was unbelievable. Yeah, and then we get the one for Borden. We figure out how Borden had done it.
Which is...
And this one is debatably even more mind-blowing.
Yeah, because you have, like, this character, Fallon. They've mentioned his name a lot, and you don't really know what the hell is going on here. It's, like, Angiers, or Borden's assistant, or, like, something like this. You don't see his face. Turns out, twin brothers, all along. It's crazy.
Yep.
He's missing fingers, and you've got this like scene near the middle of the movie. I can't remember if he's with. I don't remember. It's with Rebecca Hall, right? Where he's like,
yeah,
and it's like the "I love you," and it's like, "Do you mean it today?" or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and the whole movie, you think she means that in like a metaphorical sense, but then you realize it's in a literal sense.
Yeah, they're different. Oh my god! This movie probably goes insane on a rewatch. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, I watched it last night. It was pretty crazy. And then at the
it.
end of the movie, like, Borden wins this movie.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
At the end of the movie, he gets to go take his daughter back, and Angiers is like, how? The entire movie, this is... Borden's doing some crazy stuff, and this is... The entire movie, this is Angiers. How?
It's really
How?
funny.
It's so funny. He's just constantly getting shown up. No matter how hard he tries, Borden is the better magician.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie's outstanding. Nolan
Yeah.
cooked here.
When it pops up
It's
on the top 250 for IMDb, I'll watch it again.
yeah,
Because
it's gonna
surely
be
it's
a
on there.
while because it's high, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing. It's so perfect.
And it's just so fun. Like the reveals at the end of the movie just make
Mhm.
everything even better. Like
Yeah,
I'm glazing it and I haven't seen it in like 6 months. That's how like much all these
yeah,
twists stay with you, and you just think about, God, that movie's sick.
yeah. Also, shout out Rebecca Hall, one of the most underrated and underappreciated actresses
So
working
good.
today. Love Rebecca Hall. Shout out The Night House, one of the most underrated
Oh
horror
my
movies.
God, I love The Night House.
Dude,
It's
Night
so
House is
good.
peak. That movie actually scared me a little bit. Some of the
It's
camera work in
yeah,
that movie is super creepy.
yeah, absolutely.
I love Rebecca Hall so much. But yeah, Prestige, 5 star, 5 star for me, 5 star for Evan.
Yeah,
Evan,
this
where
is
do
like
you
a
put this
very.
in your Nolan rankings?
Let me look at my letterbox really quick. Because it might. I grapple with, honestly. I think I have Tenet and this at the same spot, and it just like, depending on the day, can switch.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, no. I have this. Man, I need to rewatch Interstellar and Inception again because I haven't seen Interstellar for a long time. So I'm excited we're doing this because my Nolan ranking is pretty reliant on just like memory. Um, this is like 5 or 6 for me right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm creating my list right now, and
Yeah,
I'm just gonna update it with every week, and it'll only be the movies that
yeah.
we've watched so far. So I think this is number 2.
W. Um,
Yeah, and then Tenant is number 3.
nice.
But should we get into
I'm so
peak?
excited. I'm so excited.
I'm gonna let you take over
Yeah.
this review
All
because
right.
you glaze this movie
I have
so
seen
hard.
this movie as of yesterday 8 times. It
Hell
is
yeah.
my number 3 of all time Christopher Nolan film. I Trey's mom plug ears. I fucking love this movie. It is so awesome. Like I cannot get over how badass this movie is. It has the same type of twist and turn that The Prestige does, backed by some of the coolest action sequences, an absolutely badass main character, and Robert Pattinson just being the coolest, suavest man ever. Oh my god, this movie is just so fun, and it's I mean it's convoluted and messy, and the audio mixing can be bad at times, but good
Oh,
lord,
maybe
I
even
can't.
terrible.
It was worse in the theaters. It's better watching it at home, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
yeah, Tenet stars John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, Elizabeth Debicki, and then I can't even think of his name. Michael Caine is in this, and then
Kenneth Branagh,
Kenneth Branagh. Thank you.
who gives
With
one
a
of the most terrifying villain
yes,
performances.
and
Holy cow, he
we
cooked.
we need to talk about how well he prepared. Okay, this is not a Russian man. He plays a Russian man in this movie. He not
Yeah.
only had to deliver the scene when they're in the turnstile and he's talking backwards and it's playing through the microphone.
Yeah.
He actually learned his dialogue backwards for that scene, which is crazy that he was
I
able to
mean,
keep his accent up.
I'm not
And
surprised. Kenneth Branagh is like a classically trained actor.
yeah, he's awesome in this. Except that scene is the worst audio mixing I've. The first time I saw that movie, I had no clue what they were saying.
Yeah.
I had to watch this movie multiple times to even understand that scene because that is a very convoluted scene and there's so much going on and it's very hard to hear. Um, Yeah, I'll read the plot really quick for those who don't know. Armed with only one word, Tenet, and fighting for the survival of the entire world. CIA operative, the protagonist, badass name, like
Mm-hmm.
he is the protagonist. Journeys through a twilight world full of international espionage on a global mission that unfolds beyond real time. Yeah, it's kind of hard to sum this movie up if you haven't already seen it, because it's like, yeah, there's this thing called time inversion, and it's like things are going forwards and backwards at the same time, and then it's like the whole scene when John David Washington first discovers the inverted bullet, and she's trying to explain it to him, and she's like, here, pick this bullet up, and she's like, well, you have to have dropped it first. And it's just like,
and you're just like, huh?
You're trying to follow it, and then she says, don't try to understand it, just feel it. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna not try to understand it, and I'm just gonna lock in and try not to like think too hard about how ridiculous.
That's the perfect way to enjoy this movie.
Yeah,
is don't try to understand it. Just like sit back and enjoy the insane stunts of this movie.
This movie is not necessarily hard to follow, except for like 2 or 3 scenes, mainly one near the ending. But the more you think about it, the less sense it makes, which is kind of weird. Like the whole last act in the desert, the more you think about it, the more questions you will have. I try so hard to turn my brain off watching this movie and not think about it, because it's like, I don't want to lessen my enjoyment, because I love this movie so much, and it like really does not make a lot of sense. And even Christopher Nolan has said lately, yeah, this movie doesn't fully make sense, which props to him for like being honest about that, because
I'm even trying to think about that final sequence right now, and I'm like,
the whole A team, B team going forward and backwards at the same time, badass. Like, it's such a cool idea, and it really doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
But it's awesome. Like,
yeah.
I found that when this movie first came out, the reviews were okay. The lead up to this movie was sick. Like, the marketing. Christopher Nolan always destroys with his marketing. Oh, it's so good. It was like, wow, I lost my train of thought totally there.
It's okay.
Yeah, I was just really excited. This was like hot in the middle of the pandemic, so movie theaters weren't really popping, and Nolan was literally like being begged to release this just to like HBO Max, like Dune and like the Suicide Squad, and he was like, no, I won't do it. This is a theater movie. It absolutely is a theater movie. I saw this movie. I was very lucky because like I didn't want to get sick. I was like, I don't want to go to the theaters. I managed to see this movie on a weekday or something, and I had the entire theater to myself. I had an IMAX theater to myself to watch this movie, and let me tell you, this is my favorite theater experience I've ever had in my entire life. The second hallway fight scene, when you realize that the protagonist is fighting himself, I audibly yelled out, "Holy shit!" Like, it is so...
It's insane!
We'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to keep glazing for a moment. This movie is just so fun, and it looks beautiful. Ludwig Göransson cooked one of the most insane scores I've ever heard in my entire life.
Agreed.
He messaged me yesterday watching this because it was his first time seeing it, and he's like, holy shit, the score is amazing. Who did it? I was like, oh, it's Ludwig. It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I said, I said, who did this score? And then, like, 3 minutes later, I sent, oh, damn, it's my boy Ludwig, the GOAT himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. This movie's insane. I think this is Nolan's most self-indulgent film.
Yeah.
I think this is, to draw a comparison to another director, I think this is his version of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah. I think this is Nolan just being like, I'm making a movie for me, and I'm just going to go crazy. I'm going to have the best stunts, the craziest stunts I've ever done. What a Chad. Buying a 747 Boeing airplane just to
Yeah.
blow it up for your movie?
I
Insane.
I remember when
Insane juice.
that headline came out before the movie came out. It's like Christopher Nolan buys 747 to crash because it's cheaper than using CGI. And I thought to myself, is he gonna crash it from the air? Like, what is this scene? Is he gonna fly and then like have a camera person jump out and crash this plane? My mind was like going crazy.
Yeah.
He said that this film, I think it has less than 300 CGI shots or effect shots. He said it's less than most romantic comedies, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It
It's
looks
visually
amazing.
insane. The scene where they're scaling the side of the building.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's so good. And like the Twilight song is playing. Oh my god.
dude, it's
Euphoric
immaculate.
feeling. And John David Washington has such a sick scene up there where he's like interrogating the Indian guy, and he's like, I'm just like a seller of something, and he puts his hand over his face and he's got the gun to his head. He's like, I don't know about that, but I am the one that people talk to. And killing an arms dealer would be the easiest trigger I'd ever have to pull. It's just like, oh my god, this man has got the juice.
The next thing I want to talk about, the action. Christopher Nolan has this way with directing action that really does it for me. You have that booming score, in this case done by Ludwig, but usually done by Hans Zimmer. We'll get into that more when we have Cash on next week for Dark Knight trilogy. But you have this booming score. You have it's just so well choreographed.
You get a lot of like overhead shots. He likes to film action from like afar a lot of the time, and then close in. You have like, it's just so crisp and clean. All the shots in this movie are just so perfectly choreographed, and it's like, he makes you feel like you're in there.
Yep.
Like, my mind's racing, honestly. Let's break this down. Let's break this down action scene wise. Firstly, the kitchen fight scene. I told you I'm gonna order my hot sauce an hour early. He walks in and he goes, I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago, and then he gets punched and the score goes boom, and you get these like super heavy bass notes coming in.
Yeah.
And he goes to town on these guys. He grabs a cheese grater, puts it up to this dude's face, and he drags it across the table and just rips it out. And he's going to town. And it cuts to Elizabeth Debicki in the car, and she's like, can we drive away, please? And he's like, the boss wants you to see this. Or something like that. And
and then David Washington just walks out without a scratch, buttoning up his jacket, and he's just like...
Ugh, it's so good.
I think he has charisma in his own way. And it's very hard to notice because he's not as, like, boisterous as his dad, as Denzel is.
Yeah.
Like, when I think of peak Denzel charisma, I think of Training Day.
You can name any Denzel performance, but, like...
But... with John David, it's more toned down, and it's more like, I won't fight you, but if I do, I will kill you. Like,
except Black Klansman, that was piercing charisma. Oh my god, he's so good in that movie.
Yeah, dude, that movie is hilarious.
Yeah. I keep seeing it on my TikTok, the clip of him talking to the Ku Klux Klan member on the phone. It is hilarious. It's so funny. But then you have the creator, and it's like, he does not pull off this father figure, like, parental instinct type role. It's pretty soulless. But then you have the protagonist who has almost no backstory.
Yeah.
Just this kind of mystery man, and John makes it his own, and it's like the perfect role for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have the plane scene, and there's a scene there's a build up to the plane scene where him and Robert Pattinson are chilling outside, and he's like, "You want to crash a plane?" He goes, "Don't be so dramatic, like from the ground." And then John David Washington goes, "Well, how big a plane?" And Robert Pattinson looks at him and goes, "Well, that's a little more dramatic." And I'm like, I know what's coming. It's a 747. It's peak. And there's like this training montage of them learning to hold their breath, and you're just getting so locked in.
Yeah.
That sequence is incredible. And the 747 song is maybe one of my favorite songs from a score ever. I used to blast that at the gym like every day. It's so awesome. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, it's so sick. After that, you get the turnstile scene, which is crazy. You've got a forward. This is the first time you're really getting some crazy inversion fighting, and it's forwards and backwards. It's like, what happened here? Hasn't happened yet. Oh,
yeah, it's insane.
It's so peak. And that is kind of like another Prestige type feeling where that scene is really cool to watch, but then the payoffs that make it even cooler come down the line.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie is unbelievable.
Let's talk a little about Kenneth Branagh as a crazed villain.
Yes.
He is so intense, and like there's that scene before the car chase. I think it's right before the car chase, and he explodes on Elizabeth Debicki because she has a gun, and he knocks it out of her hands. He's like, Chris doesn't use very many F-bombs in his movies, but Kenneth Branagh just like goes to town, and it's so scary. Oh, that scene is so good.
Yeah.
This movie has faults. I will definitely. I mean, we've talked about it already. The turnstile scene when Aaron Taylor Johnson's there and Elizabeth Debicki gets shot with the inverted bullet. That scene is ridiculous. It's like you're trying to track. You don't really understand what he's trying to get during the car chase. Like there's this thing and a briefcase, and it's like this is a really. It's my least favorite scene in the movie, just because it's even now I don't really like it because he's asking about like what kind of car he left the car keys in or left the suitcase in. It's just It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
What do you think about the ending? Because this was your first watch, so like this final scene is really crazy. So what do you think about the ending?
Are you talking about the conversation between Pattinson and John David Washington, or the final scene?
No, just like the whole desert scene.
I loved it.
It also, I mean, I messaged you when you were like, I'm almost done, and I was like, there's a scene coming up, and it's the scene when they blow up that building with the RPG, and it collapses, and then builds back up to blow up again. Crazy. I don't know how he did it. It's crazy.
It's insane. No, I think I loved that final dialogue with Robert Pattinson and John David Washington, where he's like, well, who recruited you? And he's like, you did. And he's like, well, when did I do that? And he's like, well, you haven't done it yet. And it's just like, it sums up you're like, oh, what? Okay. That doesn't make sense. It sums up the whole movie perfectly, I think. But I love that final scene.
With Priya?
Yeah. And he is like, she's calling, and he opens his voicemail as she's leaving the voicemail in the car. God, dude. It's so good. This movie, maybe I'll rewatch it today.
It's got the juice. Like it
truly does. It truly
it's entertaining.
Does.
It's got the like plot twists that you want out of a crazy Christopher Nolan movie. The action is out of this world. It's my favorite Christopher Nolan action.
Yeah.
Inception's got some pretty peak stuff, but we'll talk about that another time.
More like some pretty mid stuff, am I right, guys?
Alan's the only one that agrees with you.
That's because we're the only intelligent people in the Discord.
Yeah, okay.
It's just
how
it goes.
It's a weird scene because you get the payoff of like, oh my god, that guy at the beginning that saved John David Washington was Robert Pattinson all along. Like you see the little charm on his bag, And he's like, "This whole thing is a temporal pincer," which is like a ridiculous line, but I still love it.
Wait, what do you mean the guy at the beginning?
Well, you remember at the very beginning in the auditorium, there's that scene where John has a guy. There's like somebody pointing a gun at him, and you see the
and
bullet
then
and the rocks come. And then
yeah, the
somebody
guy
says
just come. Was that Robert Pattinson?
Yeah, so I don't know if you.
Oh
noticed,
my
you could read-
god!
That was Robert Pattinson. So like, he's got this little charm on his backpack, and if you look at the beginning, that guy had the charm. So he saved him, but he was wearing that full face mask. Like, you don't know. Trey's face right here is like the primo Tenet watching experience. Yeah. So you get this like awesome payoff that ties back to like the beginning, and it's really sick. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know, it's awesome. You should totally watch it again. For audio listeners, Trey is dumbfounded and staring at the wall. And then you kind of sit with it, and you're like, well, this whole thing means that Robert Pattinson is doomed to forever, like, just die in the tunnels. Because he is the one that saved him. Again, the backpack charm, if you notice it, like, that guy that saves him when he's in the tunnels with the, like, big thing, the bomb dropping, or the briefcase. Like, so then it's like, well, if he's forever doomed to die there, then how does he get back to the beginning? And like, it's super convoluted. It's a mess, but it's my mess, and I love it.
Love it. 5 stars.
90, 100 out of 100. I don't give a shit. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm really sad they. I'm sad I didn't get the Tenet reissue here because I wanted to go see it in 70mm again.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, I know. I told you, thinking about the movie more makes less sense. I'm
starting to get a headache, like right here.
Yeah. It's like you start thinking about something and you're like, well, this leads to that, and that leads to this, and this leads to that, and it's this like whole chain of events that just doesn't really connect.
Yeah.
But again, I don't care. Don't think about it. Just try and feel
amazing.
it. Yeah, Tenet's sick.
Thank you for joining us on our reviews today. We're going to get into what we've been watching recently, but first, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, comment down below what your thoughts on Tenet are. I know it's one of the most divisive movies of all time. If you're listening on YouTube, nope, I already said that. God, you broke my brain.
Spotify, rate us 5 stars, Apple Music, rate us.
Thank you.
All the podcasts.
Yes. Next on Tuesday, we're doing our review of The Passion of Joan of the Arc.
Oh, yeah.
And next Friday, our big one, the Dark Knight trilogy. 1 episode, 1 guest. It's gonna be sick. God, dude, I'm so excited.
It's gonna be sweet. I'm so excited too.
Yeah, and then what's our movie after Joan of Arc? Let's see. Oh, yes! It's Peak! Ratatouille!
Yeah.
What does that sound?
This movie's overrated, but whatever.
What do you have it at?
I don't know. I don't have it logged. I saw it when I was a kid.
When's the last time you saw it? When you were like 8?
A kid.
Okay. You're gonna give it at least... I am okay with at least a 4-star. And I think it is at least a 4-star. I have this at 5. Brad Bird cooks. Brad Bird is the greatest animated director.
Brad Bird made it?
Yeah, dude. Brad Bird cooks, man.
Do you like it more than The Incredibles?
Nah. That's debatable. Iron Giant is a clear number 1 for me for Brad Bird. Iron Giant is my all-time favorite animated film. It's amazing. It's perfect. It's so good. Incredibles and Ratatouille are a close second. And Incredibles 2 is so good as well. I still have that really like a 4, 4.5. All right. Let's get into what we've been watching recently.
After that, really quick, after Ratatouille, we have the superior dad racing movie for
Yes!
Ferrari. I'm super hyped about.
Dude, inject that movie into my veins.
I'm gonna turn it off right before the final scene, though, so I can end happy.
Oh, when they lose?
No, the final scene.
Oh, jeez, yeah, that was dark, dude.
I didn't know the real story, and I'm like, my god, this movie's awesome. And then it's like, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we've been watching.
Yeah, let's do it. How many do you have?
Film diary. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 without Tenet.
I have 9 without Tenet, so you can do 2, I'll do 1. Or I'll do 2, you do 1. Yeah. Do we want to do our first? I think our first one is the same.
No, on the 13th I watched The Batman.
Oh, The Batman. Oh, yeah, do that, and then we'll do the next one together.
Okay. Yeah, on the 13th I watched 2 5-star movies and one half-star movie. I watched The Batman for our first time in a long time. It's peak. It's still not as good as The Dark Knight, but it's just that just might be nostalgia bias for me. We'll see if it changes with age. The Batman's phenomenal. It's amazing action. It's big dick shit. Like sorry. That's the way you'd have to describe it. I'm sorry. It's just so awesome. Greg Fraser cooked on this movie so hard. It is stunning to look at.
Yeah.
The volume is used so well here. Please, Greg Fraser, be the only one that's legally allowed to use the volume because he's the only one that knows how to use it. Michael Giacchino's score is crazy. Robert Pattinson is
Speaking of that movie, did you go listen to that song I sent you?
That was
How
sick.
hard is that, hard. Dude?
Yeah, really
dude.
Sick.
I used to work out to Samuel Kim's music.
Heck yeah.
Dude, makes me feel like I'm a freaking gladiator.
Yeah, that's sick. After that, I watched Dune. I'll talk about Dune after you do your first 2.
No, talk about Dune.
Okay, I rewatched this for the first time since theaters.
Yeah.
So it'd been a while. I remembered it, and I read the book after I saw the movie, so I remembered the story. I just wanted to refresh before Dune 2 in 9 days. Shout out to North America getting it early. Hell yeah. It's good stuff.
We get it on the 1st, I think.
There's early access fan screenings on the 25th.
Yep, there goes my father.
Yeah, Dune is amazing. Dune is an immaculate piece of science fiction. It's really
amazing.
It is a tight political thriller that is complex and full of these different houses in a war. Insane performances. One of the most attractive casts ever. Let's get it out of the way.
Holy cow, there's some beautiful people.
Crazy. It's crazy. Oscar Isaac's beard in this movie is like a top 5 beard of all time. My God. The score.
Oscar Isaac is just a top 5 of all time.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, of what? We don't know, but he is a top 5.
The score is insane. Hans Zimmer cooked. So it's so amazing because Hans Zimmer didn't do Tenet so that he could do Dune, and it turned out that we got an insane Dune score plus Ludwig going on the map, popping off in Tenet. It's just a win-win for the film community.
Yeah, agreed.
Dune it's thrilling. The action, there's not a lot of action, but the action looks incredible. It's funny.
Yeah.
I still can't get over Frank Herbert writing the most basic white people names in this weird science fiction universe, like Paul and Duncan, Idaho. Like, what are we doing here? It's so weird. The Messiah is named Paul.
It's hilarious.
Weird. Yeah, Dune is amazing.
Speaking of Dune, go check out the Film Scoop. Probably my favorite podcast outside of ours. Might be Evan's. I don't know. Here, one sec. I'm gonna close this door. Oh, sorry. My freaking dad left it open. No, Film Scoop with Cash and Carl. I'm bringing my mic with me. Let's see how far this cord stretches. Look at that. Look at that, everybody. I made it all the way. Cash and Great pair of dudes. They have their own film podcast. They just did an episode on Dune. I would highly recommend going to checking it. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Dude,
God,
Carl's
Paul, I have dreams too, Paul, but you don't see me talking about them. It's a blast.
Yeah, at the beginning, and Carl's like, all right, we got questions about Dune. And Carl's first question, Trey's mom, plug your ears, because I want to talk about this, and it was so funny. Carl goes,
mom skip.
Question 1, how much cum is left in my balls after Dune? Dude,
I might have to be like, Mom, you can't listen to this episode when we have Cash on. It's going to get raunchy. It's going to get fun.
Ugh. Love the film suite.
Oh, God, dude. They're my favorite. We love them. Yeah, they're going to be on, or at least Cash is. We're going to try to get Carl and Cash on for a Nice Guys and Game Night episode, which will definitely get raunchy.
That'll be crazy.
God, dude. That is... I just have the most fun talking to Cash, and I have the most fun listening to them because they feed off of each other so well.
Yeah.
They have great chemistry. But yeah, go check them out.
Is Dune on the top 250?
I don't know. I don't think it is.
Whenever we do Dune 2 review episode, we'll have to touch on Dune 1.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to talk about Peak?
Yes. So, on first movie I watched after Hotel Rwanda, we did a massive watch party in the Real Talk Discord. There was what, like eight of us? Yeah. Yeah. So my what your friends have been watching page on Letterboxd was filled with just this. So we watched a film called Robert. Directed by Andrew Jones, has a 1.5 overall on Letterboxd. Yeah. We're gonna have to do watch parties for the rest of these.
Dude, I want to watch the first Robert.
This movie was so terrible. Oh, it was so bad.
It has like porn level acting, and then Robert's movements are so funny. Like, there's a scene near the end where he's stabbing somebody, and it's like. It's worse than Chucky. It's so funny. Oh my god, it's hysterical.
In this chilling story based on real life events, a family experienced terrifying supernatural occurrences when their son acquires a vintage doll called Robert. And that is the most unmenacing name, Robert.
Yeah.
God. This movie is terrible. So bad. I don't know how I just got the hiccups.
It is so funny, and the acting is so bad. It's really weird because this movie opens with like German as there's like a little tale about the true story. And for me, it was in German, and I was like, "Is this movie in English?" And then, it's a British movie.
Yeah, why is it in German? You threw it on, and I was like, "God, am I gonna have to read subtitles for this trash movie?"
We watched this on some undisclosed sources, and the subtitles for this movie were
they were in at least 20 different languages.
It was insane.
This whole experience was so fun. There was like 3 different accents that you never knew where the movie was based, because the family was like British. One of the babysitters was American, and then another guy shows up and he was from like Texas. And
oh my god, dude, when the babysitter gets pushed down the stairs, that shot is so funny because it's like 6 different shots, and you can tell that she would like roll down one stair and then they'd cut it, and then roll down another stair and then cut it so that she didn't actually have to fall. Oh my god, it's just so funny.
What's the next one? Is it The Curse of Robert?
I think it's The Curse of Robert, and then Robert the Toy Maker, and then
The Revenge of Robert, and then Robert Reborn. In 1950, listen to this. In 1951 USSR, as the Cold War intensifies, infamous dictator Joseph Stalin is suffering with illness, and his death is imminent. Meanwhile, KGB agent Stoikov discovers a mysterious stage show in the Baltic region featuring 3 creepy dolls: Robert, Kalashnikov and Miss Cyclops. Spellbound by the lifelike animation displayed by these dolls on stage, Stoikov investigates the show's host and discovers he is a German toy maker who owns a mystical book which holds the key to eternal life. Believing the toy maker and his book will help Stalin escape death, Stoikov kidnaps him and they board a plane to Moscow. But the toy maker's living creations have followed them. When the plane is in midair, all hell breaks loose as Stoikov and his team of KGB agents realize the three dolls are on board and will stop at nothing to rescue their puppet master. Fasten your seatbelt and prepare for blood-soaked toy terror at 30,000 feet. I might watch this tonight. And that that's all in 85 minutes. And guess what? The guy who plays the dad in the first one also plays the toy maker in this one.
Heck yeah.
Is that guy in every... Oh my gosh, that guy is in every single one of them.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
And then we figure out at the end, the craziest twist of all, the kid was Robert.
Or possessed by Robert, who really knows?
Yeah, that movie.
Really
What an
cares?
experience. What an experience. Yeah, that was a blast. That is genuinely the most fun I've had in a watch party in a while, besides Cabin Fever 2.
Yeah. It's peak.
Here's a sum up of me and Evan's watch party, Cabin Fever 2. Quiet for like 5 minutes, and then one of us going, oh, dude! That was the entire watch party.
Yep.
But yeah, after Robert, I followed it up with some Peak. I watched The Accountant for the first time. Holy cow, this movie
Dude, that
bangs.
movie's awesome. I love that movie.
Chris Wolf clears. The efficiency that man kills people with is unbelievable. Also, Ben Affleck. Shout out to Ben Affleck for giving an amazing performance as an autistic person.
Yeah,
he is
really
so good. And it's not like... I don't feel like it's disrespectful in any way. He just like... He kills it. Ben Affleck is great.
Yeah,
John Bernthal is an absolute delight as always. Anna Kendrick, great. J.K. Simmons, great. Jeffrey Tambor and John Lithgow just making appearances. Love it. Yeah, very, very, very good.
Yeah.
You want to give us your next two?
My next one, right? You're doing two?
Yes. Hey, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna go grab my computer charger.
Okay. My next watch was Tenet, so I'm gonna just glaze it a little more while Trey leaves. I've shown this movie to a bunch of people. I showed it to my dad, and he rewatched it the same day. And then he watched it again on an airplane, like the day after. Tenet's just sick. Next up was Madam Web, which... stinky. Very, very stinky. After Tenet was just a lot of bad, mostly this morning. Welcome back.
What movie were you talking about?
Oh, that I watched Tenet, and then next up is the fabled Madam Web.
Oh boy.
Madam Peak.
Do you want me to give two before you talk about that?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Were you just talking? Do I not have to edit that?
No,
God.
I just kept talking, yeah.
Yeah, Evan, you make my life so easy. I love you, man. I sent you a video for Valentine's Day, and you didn't respond. You did?
I'm sorry, I didn't respond. Yeah, I did see it. It was nice. It was a good one.
I sent you another one. I can't even remember. But those guys that make those videos, the one I sent you where it's like to be grateful for your friends or whatever, I love those guys. They make the most wholesome videos. Okay, my next two. Let's see. What? No, I don't want that opera. Wow. Okay, sorry. And then the next day, Valentine's Day, the 14th, I did a 5-movie day. I hate Valentine's Day because I'm single and it makes me sad. So I just decided to watch movies that had zero romance in them all day. I watched 4 horror movies and I watched an action movie. I gave Project Power a rewatch. Have you seen that? Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No, I haven't.
It's an action movie from 2020. It's about this new pill that
I've heard of this. Yeah,
grants the taker superpowers for 5 minutes. Cool idea. Not done well. Really, really terrible. Just not good. Don't watch it.
I won't.
And then I followed that up. I was like, I need some peak in my life, and I realized I hadn't logged Split. Debatably, James McAvoy's best performance.
It's not even debatable. It is. It's so good.
Yeah, I don't think he's better in anything else except he's just God, dude. He's so terrifying in this movie. He is so terrifying. And as God, dude, James McAvoy.
Joy is amazing in this too. She kind of put her on
the
map.
Yeah. This is this before The Witch?
Ooh, I think so. Yeah.
Oh no, The Witch was a year before. So yeah, she had The Witch, and then the next year she came out with this.
That's crazy.
Also part of one of we'll have M. Night Shyamalan on our next director deep dive ballot. I hope he gets chosen because we could do an episode on the Unbreakable universe.
Don't make me watch
trilogy.
Glass again.
Glass really wasn't that terrible.
I freaking hate Glass. It's a 0.5. I would give it a 0 if I could. I despise that movie.
You have it at a star, so.
Oh, I'm
no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it really just watching the Beast fight David Dunn, Bruce Willis's character. I loved that. But yeah, I watched Split. Really solid thriller. Really fun. James McAvoy gives a great performance. Really creepy.
Yeah.
Give us your next one. Madame Web.
Madame Web.
Madame Mid.
I did not finish this movie. I watched about 45 minutes of it, and then I had seen the ending on TikTok, and I was like, you know what, I'm good. It's terrible. It's worse than Morbius. It's really, really bad. The acting is so weird. It's like watching Yorgos movies where the dialogue feels robotic and very uncanny valley. It's almost not human. It's so badly written. It's not funny. The editing is a mess. The action's terrible. It's boring. It looks horrific. Visually, it's terrifying. It's just so bad. I hate it. I won't finish it. I was playing video games while I watched it too. That's how much I hated it that I had to turn it off as background noise.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah.
Apparently, I need to go back and listen to it. I apologize to the community out there because apparently I was talking to Jagger last night. I said I actually thought this looks pretty good on our Eyes Wide Shut episode. I don't remember saying that. I don't think I would have said that.
No, I feel like you said you were weirdly excited to watch it in that it might be so bad it's good.
Okay, that makes more sense. Jagger accused me of being excited and thinking this was actually going to be pretty good last night. And I was like, dude, what are you talking about? I've never said that. I've never said that. Do not say that about me. I have taste. There was a part of me that was cautiously hopeful because I wanted this to be good so bad. I just want all movies to be good, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want all Marvel movies to be bad so they stop making them.
Don't say that. That's mean. That's mean. Don't say that. Don't say that. All right, I'll give you my next two. After Split, I followed it up with another William Friedkin movie, who will definitely be going on our next director deep dive list. Director of The Exorcist, if you didn't know, and The French Connection, Evan.
A lot of stuff.
What?
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Very diverse filmmaker. He also made Killer Joe, which is a crazy movie.
Yeah, and did the remake of 12 Angry Men in 1997.
Oh.
So, yeah, this is my third film off of his filmography. I've obviously seen The Exorcist, one of the greatest horror movies of all time, and Cruising as well. What do you have The Exorcist rated at? This is like
5.
a maker... Okay, I was like, this is a make-or-break moment for us,
It's
Evan.
the top 5 horror of all time.
Oh my god, it's so amazing.
It's probably the best horror movie ever made, but it's not my favorite.
That's fair. That's fair.
The Thing.
It's one of the few movies I have at a perfect 100 out of 100.
Yeah. The Exorcist is such a perfect mending of like deep storytelling and horrific imagery and terrifying scenes.
Oh my god, dude, it's so good. And I honestly, did you see The Exorcist Believer?
No, I want to.
Oh, it's actually, yeah, it's not terrible. It's kind of a blast. But Linda Blair makes a cameo, as Reagan, and when she shows up, I was like, "Oh, dang, it's Reagan!" Like I was like when like a superhero makes a cameo in a movie. It was ridiculous.
Nice.
But yeah, I checked off The Hunted from 2003.
Oh, yeah.
Tommy Lee Jones, Benicio del Toro, and Connie Nielsen. Very good. I quite enjoyed this. It was a good one. Solid action scenes. Yeah, really good. The majority of this was filmed in Portland. And there's like a whole scene like a whole like 20-minute sequence in this where there's like a car / on foot chase through Portland, like downtown Portland, and it's just fun watching movies where I can be like, hey, I know exactly where that is. I've hung out there.
I love that.
It's very cool. So that was very good. Highly recommend. If you like Benicio del Toro, it's a banger. And then I followed that up with a pretty crappy man versus nature horror movie called Backcountry.
I want to watch that. It was bad.
It was pretty poopy. You know how it's like this is like they're like being hunted by like a bear?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bear has like maybe 2 minutes of screen time. Maybe.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty
I've
terrible.
almost put that on a bunch of times.
I mean, it might be worth a watch. You might like it. I just didn't. Yeah. It shouldn't be. The synopsis is very misleading. It's really not about the bear. That's just something that kind of happens at the end. But yeah. All right. Give us your next two. How many do you have left?
I have 2 left.
I have 3. So just give us your next 2.
I'm gonna bust them out because I watched both of them this morning.
Hell yeah.
This morning, woke up, shout out Ferdinand. I watched the shark movie.
No Way Up.
No Way Up. I paid $9 to rent this movie, by the way.
What? Why?
Well, it wasn't on any sites, and I really wanted to watch it. So I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Rented this on YouTube for $9. Not mad about it. Pretty fun movie. It's the acting's bad. It's like really cringe and cliche. But the plot of this movie is that a bunch of people are taking a flight, to like Mexico or something. I already forgot. And the plane crashes in the ocean.
Yeah.
And it sinks to a point where it hits like some rocks. So like the plane's like this, and pretty much this back part of the plane is not underwater or not filled with water. It's like an airlock somehow. I don't really question it.
Yeah, it's a shark movie.
They have some space to chill. Mm-hmm. Spoilers: sharks come to tear it up.
Hell yeah, man.
Awesome
Hell
plot.
Yeah.
Awesome idea. The kills are pretty entertaining. There's this one scene. This guy gets dragged under the water It's so funny. He's like leaning on one of the seats, and then the seat breaks, so he slips into the water, and he stands up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm fine." And then a shark just like quickly goes up and pulls him down, and they pull him back, and he's missing like one of his legs below the knee. He goes, "I can't feel my foot," and they're like, "Yeah, it's because you don't have a foot anymore." It's ridiculous. The plane crash was actually decent. Not like Society of the Snow good, but not like really,
I
really
haven't
bad.
seen that yet. I
It
need
was
to
de-
get
it
on.
was- I might raise this to a 2 just because it was like actually entertaining and I didn't want to die watching it. Yeah, I gave it a 1.5, but it's probably closer to a 2. It's fine.
Yeah.
The ending was really dumb. This movie fully neglects how cold the ocean is because
Yeah.
they're chilling in this water, and there is not a single moment where any of them are cold. There's not a moment of this movie where the temperature
That's
of the
insane.
water is even an aspect. Like at the end, spoilers for No Way Up, like you give a shit. A couple people escape and actually survive. And because the daughter, the main girl in the movie, is the governor's daughter, so she's important, right? So
Yeah.
naturally they find her quick. Oh my god. Do you care if I just talk about this movie?
No, go ahead.
There's so that this helicopter finds the plane, and they send some scuba divers down to go find the plane, and they find it, and they're staring out like the emergency exit window, and they're like, "We're over here," and the scuba diver swims up, and you just see a shark pull up right behind the scuba diver, and they're like, "Behind you," and he looks behind them, and the shark is gone, and he's like, he literally does this. And then he just gets ripped by the shark and then disappears, and all you see is a singular leg with a flipper on it float up.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny. Yeah. Decent time.
Yeah, it sounds like
And
it
then
was.
I haven't finished it yet, and I don't know if I will. I watched This Is Me ... now, the new Jennifer Lopez Prime original. It's a music video, and like she's yapping about astrology signs, and it's just terrible.
Yeah.
Visually it's kind of cool, honestly, but the music I don't care for, and the astrology stuff was annoying to me, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's
so
a bunch of
weird.
bullcrap.
The movie opens with if you've seen the trailer, there's like this shot of her riding a motorcycle, and you can tell Ben Affleck is on the front of it. And you don't see Ben Affleck's face, but they're driving through the desert, and and there's like water and stuff, and she's giving this whole rant about how love is everything, and then she goes, "But sometimes love isn't easy." And then the motorcycle horrifically crashes, and both of them just like die.
What the hell?
So weird. Go watch the first like 2 or 3 minutes of it. It's so weird. Oh
That's
my god,
insane.
yeah. So yeah, I didn't finish it. I don't know if I will. It's literally 61 minutes long, and I'm still just like, I got about 20 minutes in, and I was like,
Yeah. So you finish it off Backcountry. Followed that up with my final movie of Valentine's Day, called Late Phases. I want to recommend this one to you, Evan. This had the vibes of a very older werewolf movie. It's a werewolf movie.
okay.
It's about this blind Vietnam War veteran who joins a retirement community, but there's like werewolves that are killing people. And it's kind of a blast. I had a blast with it. It's really fun. 4 stars. Streaming on
Sounds
Peacock right now, at least for me. I don't know where it would be for you, but it's called
Yeah,
Late
I'll have a look.
Phases. Very good, very enjoyable. Highly
Nice.
recommend. 4 stars. And then last night, I watched. So, as we know, one of Trey's all-time favorite movies, probably in his top 10, is Tron Legacy. It's one of the greatest movies ever made. It's peak. It's amazing. I've seen that movie over 10 times. I have never seen the original Tron. I've seen the sequel to Tron, but I've never seen the original. So last night, I finally decided to do it. I decided to watch the original Tron. 5 stars. Amazing. It made me appreciate all these Easter eggs that are in Tron Legacy. Like, if you know Tron Legacy really well, you can appreciate, like, these lines of dialogue and these characters and all this, and this, that are, like, Easter egg or nodded to in Tron Legacy. And I mean, it's like pure 80s video game cinema. Like, this was a movie made by nerds for nerds. It's a blast, honestly. Oscar has this at 3 stars, so I was kind of skeptical going in, but I had a blast. Obviously, it's not as visually... You don't know. It's different visually than Tron Legacy, but I had just as much fun. The visuals are super cool. 80s Jeff Bridges was extremely charismatic and fun anytime he was on screen. Nice. I had a blast. I would recommend. Yeah, it's just a fun time. It's a really fun time. It's cheesy. It's fun. I would highly recommend. I wouldn't recommend if you're just sitting down to watch a movie, because this is not going to be for everybody. But if you're a fan of that content, like if you are a massive fan of Tron Legacy, like me and Evan are, I would highly recommend watching this. It's definitely worth it, just so you understand all these Easter eggs that are in the new one.
Nice.
So highly recommend.
Did you see they did like an actors roundtable type thing back when The Last of Us came out, and Pedro Pascal's talking about getting sucked into the Last of Us game, and Jeff Bridges just goes, "I got sucked into a video game once." And they're like, "What game? I gotta send you the clip." And he goes, "Tron," and none of them understood the joke. They were none of them got it. It's so funny. Jeff
Bridges is truly the GOAT. Yeah, I want to go hang out with him. He seems like the most chill. Like, the character he seems the most like is the dude.
Yeah.
El Duderino. Yeah, I love Jeff Bridges. That is so funny. I love that. And then I followed that up with... I had kind of a rough night last night, so I was like, I need to distract myself with dumb horror. So I watched another Exorcist-type movie called The Vatican Tapes. Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. Olivia Taylor-Dudley from Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension was in it, and she's smoking, so that was a W. Michael Pena is in it. No matter how bad the movie is, seeing Michael Pena is always a W. In my opinion, I love Michael Pena. That is easily the best part of all 3 Ant-Man movies. Michael Pena and the 3 Wombats. Holy cow! Michael Pena. I think it's Michael Pena, T.I., and David Dasmalchian, or however you say his last name. Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Another actor to add to the what we call now the Michael Shannon list. Actors that just show up and always make the movie better. He is the GOAT of that.
He's in everything. He's in literally everything. He really is,
dude. Oh my gosh, I love him so much. He's coming out with a new movie that looks good. It's like The Devil on Screen or something. Yeah. It looks like a horror movie. I'm quite excited. Anything he's involved in, I'm in. But yeah, Vatican Tapes.
Quantumania?
Yeah, dude.
Oh god.
Vatican Tapes. It was pretty good. It was all right. Some good scares. Some cool scenes.
I haven't watched a horror movie forever.
But I feel like in the movies, every like father or pope or anything, since The Exorcist came out, nobody knows how to do exorcisms correctly.
Except for the GOAT in The Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
The GOAT.
Talk about a Chad, dude. Oh my god.
So fun. I love that movie.
I honestly might rewatch that today. That movie is so fun. Have you seen Overlord? That director that did Pope's Exorcist also did Overlord.
I didn't know
what
that.
A crazy...
Overlord's sick.
Overlord is sick. I love Overlord.
That's a cool movie.
Yeah, but Vatican Tapes, it was just okay. 3 stars. Some cool scares. Cool visuals. Nice. It's basically about, like, if someone was, like, obviously with exorcism movies, it's like this person is possessed by a demon when we got to get it out of them. That's how all of them go. Most of the time they fail, In The Exorcist, they definitely do not, and in The Pope's Exorcist, they do not. God, dude, I'm gonna watch The Pope's Exorcist today. That movie's great. We should do a Pope's Exorcist watch party, Evan.
Yeah, we should. Dude, have you heard about, there's this one movie, it's called The Devil Conspiracy. Let
Oh no.
me tell you about it.
But here, let me finish this, and then this movie is basically about if this person was possessed and they were the Antichrist. Like, they became the Antichrist and, like, were taking over the world. So if that sounds interesting to you, check it out. But if not, don't watch it. It's not worth your time. So, The Devil's Conspiracy?
Yeah, I want to watch this so bad. It came out in 2022. Here's the plot. A powerful biotech company has a breakthrough technology allowing them to clone history's most influential people with just a few fragments of DNA. Behind this company is a cabal of Satanists that steal the Shroud of Christ, putting them in the possession of Jesus' DNA. This clone will serve as the ultimate offering to the devil. And then Archangel Michael comes down to Earth from heaven to stop the devil.
What?
Yeah, it sounds insane.
That sounds all terrible, but also kind of sick.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who plays Jesus?
I don't know.
I always like looking at who plays Jesus because they're always white. And I'm like, that's not accurate at all. Jesus was a guy, whether you believe in God or not, that's your prerogative. I don't care. Jesus was factually, like, he was an actual person, and he was a guy from the Middle East, and everybody casts white people as Jesus. You're like, but he's not white. He was probably a black dude. It's insane.
Yeah, we got to check that out sometime.
Yes. Maybe we double feature that with The Pope's Exorcist, just in case it's bad.
That'd be sick. Triple feature with Curse of Robert.
Oh my god, dude!
I can't believe that
I wouldn't
Seth watched Robert alone. I cannot believe he watched it alone.
I can't believe he did it without us. I felt so betrayed.
Yeah. We were
freaking Seth.
We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a big Robert watch party, and he's like, all right, I'm down. And then he just watched it without us, and he hated it.
I felt so betrayed. So betrayed.
Hopefully he'll join for the next one.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us today on The Average Film Enjoyer. Episode was a blast. I love talking Nolan movies.
If you liked glazing this hard this week, come back next week when it's going to be 3 movies that are getting insane levels of glaze from 3 people.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an explicit episode. So, Mom, don't listen to next Friday's episode, please. This was a blast. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe on mute. Subscribe. Evan, can you do the send off?
Subscribe to our YouTube. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Music, and drop a comment. What's your favorite between Tenet and The Prestige?
Or what's your favorite exorcism movie?
That's a good question.
Besides The Exorcist.
That's a good one. Yeah, tell us that. Yeah. Share us with your friends.
Yes, please.
That stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll catch you on Tuesday for a silent film that me and Trey are probably going to hate, but we'll talk about it.
I don't know. I'm interested. I'm keeping an open mind.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't like going into movies and being like, I'm going to hate this. Unless it was Top Gun Maverick. I went in that movie really wanting to hate it, but I came out thinking it was a 4.5. So
I went in wanting to hate it, and I hated it.
Oh, really?
I don't like Top Gun. I Top Gun's like a 3 for me. Top Gun Maverick, it's like a 3.
What about the original Top Gun?
I haven't seen it.
What?
My brother and dad forced me to go see Top Gun Maverick, and I was like, I haven't seen the original, and they were like, don't worry about it.
You should watch the original. The original's great. I think the sequel's better, but the original's great. Join us next week. I'm looking forward to reviewing my first ever watch of a silent film. I don't know about Evan. Yeah, it'll be an interesting experience. So, thank you for joining us today, and we will see you on Tuesday.